about parental rights and religious freedom. Neighbors began to complain, but again, the police said they weren't breaking any laws. They were just concerned citizens exercising their rights. Catherine arranged for us to leave through the back door and spend the day at the library. Ms. Rodriguez met us there, along with Marcus and several other people who'd been following our situation. They helped us prepare statements for court, focusing on facts rather than emotions. My brother's documentation would speak for itself, but we needed to be ready for questions. That evening, we returned to find the street empty. The protesters had gone, leaving only flyers on windshields about the persecution of alternative parenting styles. Catherine collected them all, adding them to our evidence file. She made dinner while we did homework, trying to maintain normal routines despite the pressure. The third morning arrived with unexpected quiet. No cars on the street, no protesters, no signs. Catherine was immediately suspicious. She kept us home from school and made several phone calls. Through her network, she learned our parents had shifted tactics. They'd hired a new lawyer, someone who specialized in custody cases involving alternative lifestyles. The hearing was scheduled for 2 o'clock. Catherine dressed us in the clothes she'd bought, comfortable but presentable. She braided my sister's hair and helped my brother organize his documentation into a proper presentation binder. I wore the one nice outfit I'd earned from my McDonald's job, saved for occasions I'd never imagined would include fighting for our freedom. We arrived at the courthouse to find it busy with our parents' supporters. They'd organized a rally, complete with printed signs and coordinated t-shirts reading, "Parents' rights are human rights." Media vans lined the street, though Catherine hurried us past before any reporters noticed us. Inside, the hallway was packed. Our parents stood at the center of a group, Mom reading from her journal to sympathetic listeners. Dad distributed pamphlets about the benefits of adversity training in childhood development. They transformed from isolated extremists into leaders of a movement. Catherine guided us to a quiet corner where Dr. Winters waited with her files. She'd spent the previous days researching our parents' methods, comparing them to recognized abuse patterns. She had academic papers, case studies, and expert testimonials ready to present, but she warned us that our parents' new approach was sophisticated and would be harder to counter. When they called us into chambers, the judge from before sat behind her desk looking exhausted. The room was crowded with lawyers, social workers, and court officials. Our parents entered with their legal team, projecting confidence and righteousness. They prepared for this moment. Their new lawyer began with a passionate speech about cultural diversity in parenting, the danger of homogenizing child-rearing practices, and the slippery slope of government interference in family life. He presented testimonials from successful adults who credited their achievements to challenging childhoods. He showed statistics about resilience and post-traumatic growth. Our parents testified calmly about their own impoverished backgrounds, how suffering had shaped them into successful professionals. Mom read selected passages from her journal, carefully edited to sound reasonable. Dad presented a modified parenting plan that included comfort days and abundance practice to balance their methods. The judge listened without expression, occasionally asking clarifying questions. She reviewed the custody evaluation reports, the therapist's recommendations, and the competing proposals for our care. When she finally turned to us, her eyes were kind but tired. My sister went first, clutching both stuffed animals. She explained in her 7-year-old voice how hungry felt different from regular hungry, how cold felt when you couldn't get warm, how scary it was to be locked outside at night. She didn't cry or dramatize, just stated facts the way our parents had taught us to endure hardship. My brother presented his documentation with the same methodical approach he'd learned from Dad. Page by page, he showed the progression from discipline to deprivation to systematic abuse. He used their own words against them, showing how their methods had escalated beyond any reasonable interpretation of preparation. I spoke last, describing the difference between Catherine's home and everywhere else we'd lived. I explained how we'd been trained to lie about our circumstances, to perform gratitude while suffering, to hide evidence of our parents' methods. The judge sitting there looking tired while lawyers debate whether making kids sleep outside counts as cultural diversity in parenting. Now that's a plot twist even reality TV wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. I talked about the difference between building resilience and breaking children. The judge asked our parents directly if they believed their methods had been harmful. Mom consulted her journal before responding that harm was subjective and temporary discomfort created permanent strength. Dad added that loving parents sometimes had to make difficult choices for their children's future benefit. Dr. Winters testified about the psychological impact of systematic deprivation, the difference between controlled challenges and sustained trauma. She presented her analysis of my brother's documentation, showing clear patterns of escalating abuse disguised as education. She explained how our parents' wealth made their actions more damaging, not less. The hearing stretched into evening. Lawyers argued about precedent and interpretation. Social workers debated placement options and reunification possibilities. Our parents' supporters filled the gallery, occasionally murmuring